Good evening, Coach.
Good evening.
I wanted to
Is this
start.
a fashion question or a
It is not fashion, actually. I have to first say, you can probably tell by the way I speak that I'm not from around here, and I did not grow up around football. I know. And so when I first met my husband and I met his family, the first question they asked was, "What team do you root for?" And I looked quickly around the room and I said, "I guess Alabama, right?" And they were like, "Roll Tide." So after that, I started falling in love with the sport, and I wanted to first thank you and Eli Gold and Coach Moore for helping me fall in love with the sport, and especially Crimson Tide football. And part of why I love the sport is the defense. They're fantastic, and I know Alabama has a legacy with our defense. And so I wanted to ask you, with a 3-4 formation, it lends itself, Terrence Cody lended itself well to that type of formation. And so my question is, when you recruit, are you looking for people to fall in line with the formations that you already choose, or do you kind of manipulate how you create plays based on the players that you get?
Well, the first thing is it's a little bit twofold. First of all, we have a system, and we would like to recruit players to the system. In other words, we have a criteria for what we're looking for at every position. I probably told this before about Terry. She goes shopping, she never takes a list. So like at our lake house, we'll have 7 bottles of ketchup and no mustard. Because when she goes to the store, she always buys ketchup, but she never has a list. So she don't really know what she's shopping for, she just shopping. Well, when you recruit, it's the same thing. Now, if you just send everybody out recruiting, and they say, well, we just want every good player that anybody recommends, you're going to get players that don't really fit into a role that you have on your team, so what is going to be the plan for them? Now, when we recruit, we define what we want at every position. How big we want a cornerback, what kind of guy we want to play nose guard, what kind of guys we need to play defensive end, outside linebacker, inside linebacker, same thing on offense. Offensive line, center guard, receivers. There's different types of receivers. Receivers like basketball. You got a power forward kind of a guy, you can have a point guard type of a guy, a little quick guy or whatever. So, but we define all those things, and then we go recruit and try to find those players. But then, once you get the players, if you don't have the players to do those particular things, then you have to do what the players you have can do. Because it's about the players. Now, I can tell that story. It's a long story, but I learned that when I was 15 years old. Now, have I told this story here before about when I was in high school playing quarterback when I was 15? Well, we were playing Masontown Valley, and Masontown Valley was up in the mountains. It was about an hour away. It's a bad school, bad area, bad everything. And an old school, and you had to go through the graveyard to get to the stadium. So if you drove to the school, you had to walk through the graveyard to get to the stadium. The lights were bad. And in my town, the school was the center of attention for the whole town. So the last guy out of town turned the lights out when we had a game on Friday night. Everybody went to the game. There was one bar. Everybody went in it, all ages. If we won, we got to play the pinball machine free. We got to shoot pool free while the guys played cards and ate sausage and drank. So, and if we lost, they wouldn't let us in the joint. So, we grew up with expectations even at that time. But anyway, we're playing Masontown Valley at their place, and it's like the next to the last game of the season. But whoever wins this game has a chance to get in the playoffs, because we're like 5th in the state, they're 3rd in the state. I think we lost one game. I don't know if they lost any. So we go up there, and they are kicking the dog out of us, man. They are kicking the lining out of our ass. We're behind 18-0 at halftime. Walk through the graveyard to win. Coach chews us out. Now, my coach, Coach Keener, who was a great coach, he was the coach of the year 8 times in the state of West Virginia. I called the plays. I was a 15-year-old kid, and I was a sophomore, called the plays. We come back in the game in the second half, we get it to 18-12. We get the ball back with 1:27 to go, and we go 2 minutes, and it's 4th and like 12 or something at the 25-yard line, and he calls the last timeout. And I said, thank goodness he's going to call this play. I won't have to go back in my town calling the play that didn't work, and we lose this game and don't go to state playoffs. So I go over to the side, and he called me Young Nicky. He says, well, what do you think, Young Nicky? And I said, well, I think you should call this play. And he said, well, what do you think? And I said, well, I don't know, Coach. I think you should call this play. And he said, look. He said, what play you call really doesn't matter. He said, you got the fastest guy in the state playing left halfback. You got a guy that made All-State 3 times playing split end. I don't care what play you call. One of those two guys got to get the ball. So it was 4th and 12. I said, okay, left halfback. We numbered our backs in the hole, so it was 26 crossbar pass, X-post corner. So I called 26 crossbar pass, X-post corner. I figured that one out going back in there just to get the ball to one of those two guys. I figured I'd fake the one and throw it to the other. So we won the game. And he afterwards, and he said, see, the play you call really doesn't matter. It's the players. So to answer your question, once you get the players, you have to play the players that can make plays. And you got to have him plays for them. And that's the one thing we didn't do a very good job of last year, is having enough him plays. You know what a him play is? A play for him. Like number 8, he gets the ball in this play. That's a him play. They didn't have enough